But Jason, what about the Spoto press? I got asked this question repeatedly the other day. Guys, I made a video explaining to you guys why doing partials on your heavy chest presses is a bad idea and it will eventually lead to injury. Check the video out. I don't really need to clarify any of that again. It's been covered already. I'll link it up here in the annotations and down below. But people ask me over and over and over that question, what about the Spoto press? And rather than really mock anyone or make fun of anyone, I want to teach you guys some critical thinking skills, because if there's anything that I can do for this community is to teach people to step back, not be sheep, and just learn to think things through before they ask these questions. Now, number one, I was talking about your primary exercise, your heavy presses. For anyone who's doing the Spoto press, they're probably a power lifter, because Eric Spoto popularized this as a world record raw bench holder until recently. He's now been beaten. But it was one of his favorite accessory exercises. He likes it a lot. He does it a lot. However, no one is using this as their primary chest exercise. As a secondary exercise, you're going to use a lot less weight on your normal bench press, and you're going to be doing it just for volume work to get a pump in reps with a lighter weight. You're not going to ever have a really heavy weight on the bar anywhere near what your 1 rep max would be. Whereas if you're bench pressing and doing partial reps, you're eventually going to get so strong that what you're doing 5 to 8 reps with for these partials, if it ever touches your chest, it's going to be heavier than you lift off your chest. You're going to build tightness in your chest because you don't train full range of motion, and you're going to snap something. When you look at it from that way, this is an apples to oranges comparison. I'm really surprised anybody asked about it. It just really seems weird to me that people, after I had explained that they would make that connection of even thinking about the Spoto press. It's a secondary exercise. It's an accessory exercise done with much lighter weight. And you would still be training full range of motion for your primary exercise. It's just not that big of a deal, guys. Now, the other thing to consider is, why are people so hung up on the Spoto press? It's really weird how people get hung up on an accessory or something that some champion somewhere does, as if that one thing that they do is responsible for them being a champion. Let me let you guys in on a little secret here. Tons of world record holding bench pressers didn't do the Spoto press before Eric. If Eric never did the Spoto press and chose a different accessory to address that, he still would have probably been the world record holder for the years that he was one. Let that sink in. There are also guys who do the Spoto press religiously as an accessory exercise who can't even bench press 300 pounds. In competition, they can't do it. So the Spoto press is not Eric Spoto's secret. His secret is probably a combination of his genetics, having an insane work ethic, probably very, very hefty doses of drugs that the majority of you will not be willing to put into your body, which allow him to train harder and recover faster than the rest of you, combined with probably just some overall solid training programming with that hard work done consistently over many, many years with good coaching. That's his secret. It's not this one single accessory exercise. And so my question becomes, now that he's been beaten, now the Russian guy whose name I cannot even pronounce, I apologize to him, has beaten his bench press raw world record, is everyone going to find out what his favorite accessory is, and are you guys all going to do that instead? All these people who are obsessing over the Spoto press like it's the newest, greatest thing, if you find out that the new world champion's favorite accessory exercise for his bench press is the floor press or the close grip bench press, you guys are all going to brag about that and do that all the time. Is it going to become the most popular accessory? And if you've done either one because of that reason, you really have no idea how to write a program. You need to go hire someone to write your programs, because you don't know what accessory movements are. Accessory movements and secondary exercises and auxiliary exercises are not there to be cookie cutter. There is no one best accessory for any given movement. There is a best accessory possibly, or several best accessories for you personally with your personal weakness right now. If you have a different weakness in your range of motion or your bench press than Eric Spoto does, and you should be doing completely different accessories for your bench press than he does. Something that you need to let sink in. The purpose of accessory movements, whether you're a power lifter, an Olympic lifter, even a bodybuilder, your secondary exercises that you pick are to address your personal weaknesses. What your weaknesses are, what my weaknesses are. They're not there to be cookie cutter and one size fit all. You need to figure out where your weaknesses are in a lift, or if you have a weak body part, maybe find the best exercise for you personally to bring up that lagging body part, because that could be true for a power lifter or a bodybuilder, both. But even a power lifter can have a weak muscle group in the kinetic chain on an exercise. And you need to be selecting exercises that address your personal weakness. That's the purpose of an auxiliary movement. It's not to find the one that some champion used, because the one that he used might not address your personal weakness. And if it doesn't, then it's the wrong exercise to do. So guys, step back and assess these things and think a little bit. Just think these things through and step back and say, hey, should I be worried about some secondary exercise because some champion does it? Or should I be figuring out the exercise that I need to be doing right now to address my weakness? The latter is what's going to make you a lot better. You come in, find your weaknesses, hammer those weaknesses, hammer the hell out of them, and train your ass off fixing those weaknesses. And in Eric's case, if his weakness was addressed by the Spoto press and he did it religiously and busted his ass on it, it probably worked. And it might very well be responsible. But had he chosen a different exercise to address his same weakness and trained it just as hard, he would have got the same results. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot before I go. Oh, Mount Vesuvius.